Right on time. Welcome back to the library, everyone. Today, I'm going to be talking about the film Shelby Oaks. Shelby Oaks is the new film written and directed by Chris Stuckmann. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Chris, he is a YouTube film critic and also a writer who has been reviewing films, TV shows, video games, and many other things on his channel since 2009. Now, I have been watching Chris's YouTube channel since 2014, 2015. He's a big reason why I'm here right now doing what I'm doing. In fact, any YouTuber who does anything close to film reviews or this kind of thing cites Stuckmann as one of their biggest influences. And he is one of mine too. It doesn't surprise me. He was one of the first YouTube critics ever on this platform. He paved the way for us to do this kind of thing. So believe me, the whole film creator community were all rooting for him with this, the release of his full-length feature film. Now, before I move forward, I would like to say that there are going to be a few minor spoilers, but with that being said, let's dive into it. Shelby Oaks, let's review. I remember back when Chris first came on his channel and dropped the news that he was going to be directing this film in 2021. It was just post-COVID, so the world was kind of in a bit of chaos. But he launched a Kickstarter campaign that was a massive success, and throughout the years he's been dropping several updates about what's been going on behind the scenes and the status of the production, and so on and so forth. All in all, it was a 4-year process from script to screen with this. I gotta tell you, now that Shelby Oaks is finally in theaters, I was just proud to see Chris's name up there, having watched him as long as I had and knowing how hard he had to work to get this film done. I mean, having worked in independent film myself quite a bit, I know all the hurdles you have to jump through to get something like this made, and I was just hoping that he had made a film that he could be proud of to call his first one. Well, I am here now, and I am glad that I can report to you all that Shelby Oaks is definitely a film that he should be proud of. Not a bad debut, sir. Not a bad debut at all. Is it perfect? No. But it's made with a lot of passion and a lot of attention to detail. And that's really what matters to me. You can see it in this movie. This film follows a woman named Mia who has been searching for her sister Riley, who went missing over 10 years ago. Her sister was a member of a YouTube group of paranormal investigators. Ironic that a YouTuber made this movie. Anyway, these paranormal investigators and their channel were last seen exploring somewhere around the abandoned town of Shelby Oaks. New evidence falls into Mia's lap at the start of this movie, and that's where it picks up right from there. First off, let me just say that this movie is several different types of horror movies in one. It would be tough to classify it as one particular horror niche, actually, because it begins kind of like an episode of Unsolved Mysteries, which serves as a good exposition opening scene for the audience. Then it turns into a little bit of a found footage movie and eventually kind of just goes into a regular straight narrative type of film with a little bit of found footage still sprinkled in here and there. The beginning part, the Unsolved Mysteries type part, while different from the rest of the movie, I feel worked really well in getting us to care about Riley, the missing sister, the one who went missing. That was a very good way to open the movie. The performances in this movie are all very good, and that's definitely a big part of what makes a good horror film. The actors are phenomenal, and they sell this movie. The story is also very good here, even if we have seen it a few times before, and it can be a little predictable at times, but moment to moment and everything that leads up to the final shot, I gotta say were really well done and definitely had me on edge all the way up to the final shot, and I give Chris Stuckmann a lot of credit for that. This movie is definitely an interesting conundrum because you can definitely see the money that was put into it with the bigwig producers they got later, but at the same time, you can see a few cracks in the movie as well. You can see this is the workings of a first-time director. There's certain things sometimes that happen where, like, I feel it cuts away a little too quickly and you don't quite see what happens. You know, whether it was due to a budgeting issue or maybe the fact that they just didn't have time to film certain things. I mean, there was one particular scene I remember where the buildup was so good, and then there was just like a loud sound and a quick cutaway, and then she's somewhere else. And I was like, well, wait, what actually happened there? What was that? You know what I mean? There's also some parts logically that don't add up for our characters. Like, there's one scene where somebody is murdered directly in front of our main character. Like, he commits suicide. I mean, literally, the guy blows his brains out right in front of our main character. And then later on, she's watching the tape, which, by the way, she found on the dead man is withholding from the police, evidently, which is never really explained why she does that. And anyway, she is watching this tape she found later on him, and she still has his blood on her face from when he shot himself. And I was like, wait, well, wasn't that like during the day? I mean, it was daylight when that happened, and now it's nighttime, so I can only assume there's been a passage of time. I was like, what's it been, like 8 hours, and she's still got his blood on him? Like, did at no point when the police and forensics came over, or her husband was consoling her through all that, did they even offer her a rag or something, or be like, to clean the blood off her face, like, here, let's get you cleaned up, or anything? I mean, I get it, like, you know, they're going for the whole shock factor, but the fact that she's been walking around with this dude splattered blood on her face for like 8 hours, I'm sorry, she would have cleaned herself up a bit by that point, you know what I mean? It's little stuff like that that kind of takes you out of the realism from time to time. It's little stuff, it's forgivable, but that's what I mean. But at the same time, how many times in one movie can a character turn around slowly when there's clearly something behind them? By the 10th time, I was like, lady, there's something behind you, just turn around. Where Stuckmann excels the most here is in his directing style and in his subtleness in a lot of particular shots. There's things you have to catch in the background. Everything is framed well, and sometimes you really have to look and catch stuff, and I love that. I remember one particular shot where I caught something that wasn't quite in frame, but I was like, oh, look, over there, you see that? You know, all that stuff is very well done and very well executed and very well thought out on his part. I like subtleness in horror movies like that, something that doesn't always pop right in your face or have that swelling of music that tells you have to be scared right now. I appreciate that a lot. Some other people who have reviewed this film have said this, and I kind of agree with them. Maybe Stuckmann could have a co-writer next time, or maybe just direct something that somebody else wrote, because the directing is really where he excels here. The writing is a little shaky at times. It's not bad, just a little shaky at times. It just might be something to consider for next time. Now look, I want everybody to go out and see and support this movie, so I'm not going to talk much more about it. I want to save the movie for you. So one last thing I want to tell you here is that if you are a general fan of horror, but can also appreciate independent filmmakers and just know that what you're going to see is a work by somebody who is passionate about horror, but this is also their first attempt as a director, and you can see it from that perspective, then you are going to enjoy and appreciate this movie. It's not as polished as a lot of other films are, but Stuckmann has a lot of potential here as a director. I really can't wait to see what he does next. Chris, congratulations on putting your first full-length feature film out. It is one you should definitely be proud of. Thank you for paving the way for myself and so many other creators alike. I'm going to give Shelby Oaks a 7 out of 10.